Alexander, it's great to have you here. We were just talking about how activism wears many hats. How did activism first come into your life?
I think the way activism comes into all of our lives is just part of our childhood and what we respond to on a daily basis. I was the only brown kid growing up in my school. So being the only brown kid, not being of a certain income level, you had to fight every day for your identity, whether you knew it or not. So even just showing up was activism.
Do you feel like it was like survival?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
It can, and you can go either way. It can kill you or it can toughen you up. It toughened me up.
Where'd you grow up?
Orange County.
Oh, yeah. A land far, far away called the Florida of California.
100%.
Yeah. Wow. You really are. So
and in what ways did it toughen you up?
Yeah.
I could have just sat and, taken it, but I didn't. It became part of my identity. I've always been outspoken, even as a little kid. My report cards all said talk successively during class. So I'm like, you know what? And if they're going to bully me, I'm going to be out loud and proud first.
Yeah.
So humor became part of my personality.
Sure.
And that's one of the best defense mechanisms that we have.
It's also a trauma response.
100%.
That's the best one you could get, though.
Yeah.
I got it,
It
too.
flips the switch and it takes the narrative. You take power over whatever bully.
Yeah.
So you have this amazing new opportunity. Like now you are the publisher of The Blade. Tell us a little bit about this new adventure that you're in, because you've done so many things, but now, this is a legendary newspaper. So how do you feel? What's going on?
Taking over for The Blade is very bittersweet. The original publisher was Troy Masters, and he created this paper 8 years ago. It's the sister paper of the Washington Blade, which is the oldest LGBTQ newspaper in the nation. We are the only queer publication that's in the White House. As of now. So,
Wait, you're currently in the White House?
Yeah. Yep.
And they know that?
Oh, well, as much as, but we haven't been kicked out yet.
So do you ask the questions?
No.
Okay.
I think that for the political experts.
So a political person goes and represents the Blade, and then what kind of questions do they ask?
It's just really to report on what's happening. So when we report on news as it affects the queer community, it's hot off the press.
Okay, is this person paid a lot for their pain and suffering? Because this is like extra, like hazard pay. Yeah, no, that's crazy.
When you think about activism, and you have all the stories to cover, how do you pick and choose which ones are the ones that really make it at the end of the day?
Well, I think, we use the word activism a lot, and we should be using it a lot, but I think it comes in very many different forms. So we report on tons of political stuff. We report on the political activists that are the movers and shakers. But even an artist opening a show in West Hollywood, that's activism. The poet laureate of the city of West Hollywood, that's activism. Owning your own business right now as a queer-owned business, that's activism. So we really reflect the community in all different aspects, from business owners to entertainers to drag queens to go-go boys to city politicians. It's all activism, and we need to view that and appreciate it on all different levels. Right now, I think we feel that if we're not out there at the protest every day, or we don't have a big platform, that we can't do our part, and that is not true at all. Every movement is appreciated. Every time you tell your story is activism. And that's what we need to remember, is you can do it on every level. And that's what we're trying to talk with The Blade, is talk about these stories, all these life stories. We come from all different walks of life, especially in Los Angeles. But what do we all want? We want a voice and we want equality. That's what we want. And that unifies us no matter what ethnicity we are, what religion, what sexuality, anything. That's what unifies us all.
Yeah.
What are we doing about this new Gen Z, Gen Alpha generations, especially, in the male sphere, let's call it that way, who are actually it seems to me, and based on what I've seen on the news and everything else and social media, that they are kind of just going backwards, and they're aligning with very patriarchal and male sort of ego-dominated toxic masculinity, topics and ideas. So how do we combat that? And, because you would have thought that the younger generation would have been more quote unquote woke. In reality, it seems like a lot of, especially again, males seem to be leaning more towards the right and conservative. And I think I know why, but is there something that you have in mind to
It all comes
target
from the
that?
top. Look what we're seeing every day. Whether you're for Trump or against Trump, we see him every single day. We have to listen to him every single day. And that filters down. Like I said, even if you're not with him, these kind of energies is running our nation right now, and it's toxic masculinity. And it feeds into households, and it's affecting how people view power right now. I had so much hope for the younger generation because they didn't care about labels. They were out and proud. People, kids were coming out younger and younger because they felt confidence and they had the language to. Not when I came out. I came out super late.
Yeah.
But it's bleeding into the households. And so it's teaching households it's okay to return to that masculinity. And it's safer to hide behind this bravado than it is to be
something.
courageous and fight that.
And the algorithm too, right? The algorithm working against.
100%.
Yeah.
You put LGBTQ as a hashtag on your Instagram, it's going to be hidden.
Well, and I also want to know, because I mean, again, The Blade is such a legendary paper, right? It's been around forever and so recognized for the work that you do for the community. What about advertisers?
So media is suffering a lot, and I'm sure that you all know. Advertisers go, and we're hearing about it at Prides. Large advertisers are pulling out of Pride because they're not being forced to anymore. And so that's affecting media on all levels, from our level to mega media corporations. Advertisement and sponsorships is just gone. And it even goes to Pride events. It goes to the gala events for any of the organizations. Equality California, is having struggles in terms of maintaining advertisers. And we know money is power. So unfortunately, we have to find different ways of congregating.
You also have On the Rocks, the podcast. You've been doing
You
that
have
for
to keep comedy.
years.
You've got to keep
But
need
for
your...
years and years and years and years. So how is On the Rocks doing?
Come down on the years, okay?
It's in a lot of years. It's in a lot of years, but great. It's going strong. So how's On the Rocks?
So On the Rocks, I started 15 years ago, and when we think of podcasting, nobody knew what podcasting was.
Yeah. You're
so
like the Perez Hilton of podcasting.
Yes. Let's be careful. But podcasting was so new, but it was such a way to talk to celebrities, to personalities. Podcasts used to be 2 hours. Those were like a normal episode because we didn't have this access and this insight into celebrity life or influencer life. So the whole culture's really changed, but we were at the forefront. And over 15 years, I've interviewed every type of celebrity, from porn stars to Academy Awards to reality stars.
Wow.
Maybe a housewife, maybe had a little too much to drink at our show, but I won't say.
How often do you release episodes? Is this what you do all the time?
Every week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, so we drink with celebrities, and that's how you get the tea. You can liquor it up.
On the run.
On the rock.